It is my privilege to introduce Tony Moser and to have him come back. He's already working. He's on the job right now. Tony had a long journey. So Tony, it's all you.
All right. Thanks, Steve. And yes, it is and was a very long journey. And I give everything to it's just everything that's happened over the last 11 months of job searching. And to say that it was hard, it was definitely difficult. But this weekly call is something that is part of the journey. And so I want to give credit to Steve and his team for putting this on each week and just doing the great work that this team, this call provides. And that's one of the bullets that I'm going to actually talk about. So I've got 5 topics that I want to cover in today's in today's call, and of course, just give everybody credit for coming. This is one of those things for me. It was the way to start the week out, ready to go, excited, use some things and skills that were shown in this week's meeting, and just kind of give it a shot, give it a go. So anyway, I'm going to give 5 topics that kind of influenced me a lot for while I was out of work. And then before I do that, and just kind of give a background of how I came to join this call. So probably 30 plus years working in the field. Graduated with a finance degree, and I'm not going to go really into a lot of detail, but I'm going to cover some highlights. Got my finance degree from Idaho State, and I tried to get a job in that major and found that it was just as hard to get a job in my major for a number of reasons. Just things that just didn't, the doors never really opened. They would open, but they'd get slammed shut. And so I kind of realized that my natural, ability, I guess you could say, each one of us have our own abilities. So what my ability was to learn stuff in the technology space. I just have a knack for it. It was weird. I just discovered it and went with it. So brought me to Utah, found a job with an insurance company as a help desk guy. Answered phones, built computers, run out, creating users, creating permissions, all that stuff. And then just started moving my way into Unix administration and system administration, backups, and different software deployments. And then I decided to try the networking. So I pulled cable for a while, pulled Cat5 all over the country, California. Just a funny story with that one real quick is we were in California pulling cable in a warehouse, and I was up in I don't know, I was on top of some cubicles, let's just say that. I wasn't necessarily in the rafters. I was in the cubicles, and we had the ceiling tiles pulled. And I looked down, and all of a sudden the building started to shake, and I'm standing up there and I'm trying to grab whatever I can to hold. And sure enough, there was an earthquake while I was up there pulling cable. So that's, I always think that one's kind of funny. But that kind of set, I think, the tone for what the rest of my career was going to be like, I guess. But so I did that for a number of years and just kept doing computer stuff, networking, building huge server farms and the whole deal, and eventually joined Wells Fargo. Spent 20 years with Wells Fargo and was a software developer. We imaged and archived checks. That's what my job was at the beginning. So we did a lot of job transfers, and to kind of give you a perspective of the volume of checks we were doing 10 to 14 million checks a day, imaging across the country. And 9/11 hit, and of course, paper checks were kind of in the. I didn't see that going very well, but anyway, 10 years of that, and then I got into more of an administration role and transferred over and did that with vulnerabilities and BCP work and all that crazy stuff. So I did all these crazy things for my career, and none of those times in that window was I ever let go, kind of deal. I always had work. There was work to be found, and no big deal. And then a year ago hit, Steve, we met what, May? I think it was.
Yeah,
Anyway,
May a year ago, I think.
yeah. So Steve and I were introduced to each other May of 2024. And that was right after being let go. And my position was eliminated just strictly because I lived in Utah. No other reason than that. And there might be a few of you on from Wells Fargo, and Lee Hecht is a big partner with Wells Fargo, but they decided to consolidate from 49 states because there was technology presence in 49 states in the U.S. as well as around the world. 33,000 employees employed in technology with Wells Fargo a year ago. And they decided to pull 49 states down to 11 core locations in 11 states. Salt Lake was on that list. I was in those discussions. I was a manager. We were going through personnel and all that crazy stuff. And when it was ultimately decided, they dropped it from 11 to 7, and Salt Lake was ultimately taken off the map. So as a result, I think there was a number of us that have been impacted by that decision, as well as many of my coworkers across the country that are still being impacted from that decision of consolidating and getting people back into the office. So yeah, big carpet pulled out from underneath me. Fortunate or unfortunately, there was concrete under the carpet, and so I hit pretty hard. And I think a lot of us can probably relate to that impact once it starts to hit, and you start to realize that this is my new world. So that was a pretty long story to get into the 5 topics, but I wanted to give you guys a background of where I came from. I was in leadership, I was management. In fact, I was trying to save people's jobs on my own team. And anyway, so I saw it from both sides of the fence as well. I was in those calls where they joined the call and they said, by the end of this call, we need you to give a name of who we're letting go. And I've been in those calls and never thought that my number would be called, and it was. So yes, so I have very strong empathy towards every one of you on this call, and whoever's going to be potentially listening to this later, for the impact that you guys are going through, because it affects you. It affects your spouse, it affects your family and those surroundings. So all of that comes into play. So the 5 things that I wanted to talk about today was, the first one is faith, and we'll get into that one. Second one is, what's wrong with you? I've heard that too many times. I'll say that. Third one is positive, right? How do we stay positive in a growing, stressful environment of being out of work? The fourth one is your daily schedule. I want to talk about that real quick. And then the last topic that I want to talk about is learning and improving your learning. So yes, I am over 50, so I've got that ageism. It's not supposed to be there, but I'm 100% gonna promise you it's there. It just is. So if you're hitting the 50 mark and you've been in the market for a while, it's real. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's real. They're going to take a younger you over you every time. And that I saw that multiple times over the last year. So just I'm going to try to help you through that as well, of how to get past that, because I think I was pretty good with that. But first one is the first topic that I mentioned was faith. I want to be straight up and honest with you guys. My faith was challenged. It was probably the hardest thing. Yeah, it pretty much was. So how did I get past it? Because that is something that I think a lot of us try to do and try to deal with. I wasn't good at it. I'll tell you that right now. I wasn't good at it. But you have to rely on those around you that do have faith. There's just there's going to be the lows, there's going to be the highs, but I was never, now looking back on it, I was never um, abandoned. Kind of a bad word though. But anyway, I was never, geez, Steve, this wasn't supposed to happen. Um,
Okay, Tony, I'm sorry. I think I gave you my emotional allergies.
you're good.
It's
You're
coming.
good. I'll get
It's
over it.
coming out. It's good. It's good.
It's good. But I do want to say that I am stronger today than I was before. The little things at first I didn't notice that there was a supreme being taking care of us. Looking back on it now, absolutely was and still is. In fact, gosh, Steve, I'm sorry, man. Um, this call is one of those. And whether you realize it or not, this is a blessing. And those blessings got me through the rough times. And um, you just have to look for them. And at the time when you're struggling, it's harder to see um, those hit you, if you will. I call them breadcrumbs, if you will. Jeez, man. This is why I put it first so I can get it out of the way. Sorry, you guys. Um, I look for them as breadcrumbs, and they definitely are out there. And whether they're people that you come in contact with, they're not happenstance. Like they just don't show up. If somebody comes into your day that you haven't seen in a while, I'm sorry, that's not. At the time, I thought it was just yeah, whatever. I just met so and so. They're not. I'm just telling you that. And follow everything that you hit like that are random. Follow them like crazy. And then sometimes they go someplace and sometimes they don't. Um, but the reason why I say that is that's how I got the job that I have today, is because of random things that happened that there's just no other explanation for it. There isn't. Um, in fact, I applied for another credit union 20 times. I've had 20 rejections from another credit union. In fact, the credit union that I'm working with, I've had interactions with this credit union 12 times. 12 times I've had interactions and none of them worked, but one of them eventually, actually multiple actually worked. The more I'm seeing it now from outside looking in, there were those breadcrumbs that built into where I got this position I'm in right now. And so faith is my first one. It's a number one. It's going to challenge you to your core. It'll challenge you to your core. But my what I'm going to say to you is don't give up. Don't give up. There's just too many. Your support group is too big. And I saw it. This is kind of funny. I saw a Jelly Roll concert. I don't know if you guys know who Jelly Roll is. Um, he had a concert in Portland. I think it was yesterday or anyway, this weekend. And he realized that there was nobody on this earth that could take care of him and get him out of prison and everything else, get him into the music industry, except for God. And I'm here to tell you that that is 100% true. Like it's just true. So don't lose your faith. You can challenge it, you can question it, but don't give up. Don't give up. Look for the breadcrumbs and then pick them up occasionally. Pick them up and say, "Where's this thing going to go?" And then trust me, it goes somewhere. Especially when you hear how I got my job. It's crazy. Number two topic was what's wrong with you? And I don't know how many times I asked myself that in the last year. What is wrong with you? What is it that's keeping you from getting a job? Like it was nuts. Like guys, I was getting rejection from a part-time FedEx delivery driver. Like I never even got a follow-up. I interviewed twice. They paid $20.22 an hour part-time and never heard back. Like it was just crazy. Like I couldn't even get a delivery job. In fact, I signed up for Amazon Flex to deliver packages. Um, I'm getting, I did that I waited 6 months before I could finally get on to be an Amazon Flex driver. I got to be an employee. I got my picture, I got my background check, I got an ID, I got everything. Um, I'd go to check for a schedule, nothing, nothing. And it would do that for 2 months, nothing would come open. No deliveries, no packages, no nothing. Since I've been hired, I get like four a day to deliver packages. And I never had those before. So when I say what's wrong with you, nothing, nothing. And you have to believe that there is nothing wrong with you. It's the circumstances that we are in that put us into these situations. It's not you. It's not who you are because you are still important. You are, I mean, you look at your support group. You're part of that, right? So there's what's wrong with you? Nothing. Pretty simple, right? Um, for me to hear that 6 months ago, I think I would have told Steve to poke it. In fact, I have told Steve to poke it many times. He hasn't heard this. Um, I've told Steve to pound sand so many times I can't even tell you. And thankfully, Steve never heard those. Um, because the things he was saying, I was like, I'm doing that, and nothing would happen. It was just my Amazon Flex deal. Like I would seriously get so frustrated, and I know you guys are as well. You're like, I'm doing everything you're asking me to do, and nothing is happening. And I just, what's wrong with me, guys? There's again, don't fall for that. There's and ladies, everyone, don't fall for that because it's just garbage. It's garbage talk, and you need to get it out of your head. So there's nothing wrong with you. Number three is positivity. This one's really hard to talk about because it's simple to say I'm having a great day, and then to believe that is even harder. And so, how did I get through my down days? Because I had them. Trust me, I had them. And it's what I think a lot, whether it's a Utah stigma or whatever the case may be. Um, but mental health is something that we all need to be more open with than we are. Guys, I've never been on medication. Never. I've never needed to. I've never been a person that fell down and needed something to get me out of the hole until this. And you know what? I'm proud to tell you I'm on medication. I'm on medication. And you know what? It was the greatest day of my life because my lows weren't lows as long as they were. And I was like, what is going on? Like, why can't I get out of this rut? And I finally had to go get help. And I am telling you, I am not on the strongest medication that they could put me on. I told the doc even then too. I said, I don't want the strongest dose you can give me. In fact, I want the smallest dose that you can give me just to see if it'll work. And it worked. But you know what? The best part about that is you can control it. You can control whether you have a bad week and you're just like, man, I cannot shake this. And you can up your dose a little bit, and believe me, it helps. And then you come back down. I am on the most minimal dose still today. I'm still taking it. Now, am I going to get off of it eventually? Maybe, maybe. But I can tell you right now, my relationship with my spouse, with my children, with my grandchildren, I would never give that up. Like I am a much happier person and easier to be around now that I'm on that than I was before. And so for me to go back to who I was in the low of my lows, I'm probably gonna really rethink that multiple times. So positivity, as simple as the word is not simple. I'm just going to tell you, it's not simple. And if medication works for you, great. If it doesn't, don't find something else. Maybe it's go to the gym, but don't go to alcohol. Don't go to any of the other things that, try to wash things away, because it in the long term, you're not only hurting yourself, but you're going to hurt those around you. So don't be afraid to ask for help. There's so many different things out there that are free and that can help you get through this challenge of unemployment, temporary. Mine was a year. It didn't seem temporary. I thought it was never going to end, to be honest, and I think you guys all think that as well. But the positivity side is probably one of the hardest things that I went through. And Steve sends positive messages, and some days I was like, I am not in the mood. I would just say, nope, not gonna. I don't want to read that one today. But you know what, Steve? Thank you, thank you for sending those. And if you're not getting them, Steve puts a lot of effort into sending those out. He does. And so thank you, Steve. Thank you for sending those. And I think there's been other people that have said it as well. But sometimes those little pick-me-ups are what you do. So along that same line, in LinkedIn, because I know we're all on LinkedIn, start finding those people or groups or whatever they are that have that positive message as well. Follow them. And if it's a leadership or whatever it is, follow it and then share it. Once you share it, you're going to see different people's responses, and you're going to get that breadcrumb again. And I promise you those will show up, and you'll go, where did that come from? It's Tony's breadcrumb. They're just there. So the positivity is probably one of the things that challenged me, as well as my faith, that I worked through, and that was huge. So stay positive. You guys are worth something. Yeah, so do that. Get the physical help. Stay physically fit. Walk. Do those things that you need to do. But get out of the house. Get out of the house often. Don't be a slave to the job search and everything else. I can tell you when jobs hit and everything else, but don't become a slave to the computer, because it is mentally draining. It's mentally draining. So spend which transitions into my fourth topic, which is your daily schedule. Now, the daily schedule for me was important because it kind of reflected back to the other ones. The longer I stayed in bed, the worse I got. It's just true. So get out of bed in the morning, find a routine. If you have a dog or whatever the case may be, find a routine that you can stick to. Mine was get up at 6:30. I was on the computer at 7 because of the East Coast time, and I wanted to see the jobs that were hitting, and I wanted to be within 12 hours of the job posting, and I would apply. So my routine was that. And then when I hit noon, I would find something, maybe 11. I'd spend a couple hours every day looking for work. And then the last one that I'll talk on as well, I would do that part of my routine as well. But there's got to be a time in the day where you just got to get out. One thing that I discovered, which was crazy, was people shop at Costco at like 10 o'clock. You need to discover that. You do. You need to get out and realize that life still happens. Life is still going. And I joke about that, but it's true. There's people that shop during the day, which was really weird for me. I was like, what? Don't these guys have jobs? Kind of deal. So get out. Go, just, if nothing else, walk around and just get out and do stuff. that is going to be probably one of the bigger things for you as well. So get a routine. I always check jobs again at maybe 4 or 5, and did those kind of things as well. I did pick up a lot of hobbies. I did pick those up. I think hobbies are good, but be careful on those because again, when you're out of work, you don't have a lot of money coming in. So I found old pallets for wood, and I started doing woodworking projects. I started doing cornhole boards and just stupid things like that, but there was something. So find something else that can build on that. Um, so yeah, daily schedule is important. Don't stay in bed. Um, get up and get dressed, um, and just treat it like a normal day. Treat it like you're going to work. Don't stay in your pajamas all day. I tried that; it doesn't work. I tried that for a long time, and it just doesn't work. Don't do it. So get up, get ready, comb your hair, do those kind of things, right? Just make the day normal because you're still a normal person. So do that. The last thing I had on my things that I wanted to talk about today was learning, and this one this one is very, very important. In fact, um, with the new job, that's all I've been doing is learning. I learn stuff like I'm taking classes, I'm reading books, I'm trying to be current, if you will, for that. So stay current in whatever career you choose, and take advantage of all the online tools that are out there. YouTube has a ton of videos. People are posting videos like that. LinkedIn Learning is probably my go-to. I have that one, and I take different courses with that. But um, I'm also getting books. I'm borrowing books. Libraries have a ton of books too, but I'm kind of doing that as well. So there's that piece of it that I don't think will be one that will hurt you in the long run either. I think that um, I'm still learning, and I'm still trying to be current in my position. Um, so that kind of hammers that a little bit. So the last thing I wanted to kind of touch on is just how did I get my job? How did I, through all of this, what did I do that would be different than anybody else on this call to look for jobs? And you know what? I didn't do anything different. I didn't. That's the beauty of it. Everything that we learn in this core or this meeting, um, I did that. Like I didn't do anything special, is what I'm saying. But the thing that landed me this job was consistency. And I 100% believe that because I'm still getting on average, I'm getting 2 rejection emails a day, and I'm still getting those. Still getting rejections of jobs that I forgot I applied for, and I have no idea um, what the rejection's coming from. I'm like, did I even apply for that job? And I look through my notes, and yes, you did. So I have a number of those, but um, I have a list of 100, maybe 200 rejections of jobs that I never talked to anybody with. And so that can weigh on you heavily. But what flipped it for me with this specific job was building relationships with the people you talk with. And I know that sounds dumb because you're like, yeah, I do that all the time. But if you think about it, who's the first person that's going to be looking at your resume? It's the recruiter, right? It's HR. It's those guys that are there. So guess who my first person is that I'm buttering up, or I'm building a relationship with, is the HR guys. Like, uh, there's no other way around it than to say, I can't get into this company because I can't get my resume to the desk that it needs to sit at. Guys, the job that I'm doing with America First has nothing to do with technology. Nothing. Everything I've spent my entire career on, I I'm doing some query searches on. I'm query searching, I'm doing research, I'm companies, I'm reaching out to people, um, I'm setting up meetings with third party people that they're interested in and talking to, and then I'm working with people. And you know what? My technology skills is being used, but not in that capacity of needing to build an array or building a storage device that can handle 3 terabytes. I don't do that. It's crazy. But how did I get this job? It's because I built a relationship with a recruiter of all places. And I interviewed for other positions that I thought I had a chance at. And in those interviews, they didn't go well. They didn't. And in fact, during the interview, it was like when I would get to salary, we would talk salary, and they were off by like $100,000 a year. Like it was that crazy for me. Um, and so I still took advantage of that relationship with that recruiter and just politely said, you know what, this isn't going to be very close, but this is the skills that I have to offer. And I am very interested in working with your company. And I just stayed on top of that guy. I stayed on top of him. And he eventually got to remember me. I got to be to the point where I had him on LinkedIn and we were chatting back and forth. We would just say, "Hey, how was your weekend?" Simple stuff that Steve's been preaching for a year or more, just little things like that. And I've done that with every company. If I can get a body, I'm talking to them like that. Like I was trying to just get through their relationship. In fact, another credit union, I mentioned it, 20 interviews, 20, not 20 interviews, 20 applications, and I had interviews, but the recruiter was was trying to help me get onto the company. And that is huge. That is huge. So stay real, stay true to who you are, but build those relationships. Because guess what? That recruiter that I met at America First, he wasn't even over this job that I took. It was another coworker. And that coworker saw my resume, passed it over to the job that I was looking for, and I never talked to that recruiter. Like it was so crazy. In fact, the hiring manager called me directly and said, "Hey, I want to interview with you." At first, I thought she was the recruiter. I thought she was like just one of the people that was screening stuff. And next thing I know, 2 interviews in, they're offering me a job. Now, is my scenario like wonderful and great? No, because you know why? I took a pay cut and I took a significant pay cut to take this job, a significant one. And um, it's it's an adjustment. It is. But the flip side of this is now no salary coming in. So I was so happy. A breadcrumb dropped. I picked it up and I'm here. I'm working. Um, I'm not making the money that I was, and I get that because I was with a company for 20 years. That's part of it. I get it. But on the other side, I'm employed. And is there anything special about how that happened? From the outside looking in, there isn't. But what was my first topic? Was faith, right? And the faith was again so challenged that I questioned everything. Everything. I was like, this isn't supposed to happen. I'm not supposed to get a job. Those only happen to other people. I went through all that mental challenge, mental back and forth. There's something wrong with me. I went through all of that. And then when this breadcrumb dropped, I was like, okay, it's not what I really want. It's not necessarily in the field that I've spent. But if this is the breadcrumb I'm supposed to pick up right now, I'm picking it up and I'm working. And that is crazy. In fact, It's so recent. I still don't know what my normal paycheck's going to be. Like, I really don't. My first paycheck will hit Friday, and I have a ballpark idea because obviously there was a salary agreed to, right? I have a agreed to on that side of things, but I, I, I don't. So blind faith on this one. It's weird that I would put it first. Don't you think that I would put that as my first topic because it was something that I challenged, not only challenged, I questioned, I doubted everything. Like it was horrible. It was a horrible place to be. And this one is a leap of faith. And but also somebody else could say, well, it's because you're desperate. I hate that word. I hate that word the most. Well, you took it because you were desperate. No, desperation was when I applied for that FedEx part-time job at $20.22 an hour and didn't get the job. Like, they haven't called me. They still haven't called me. As far as I know, I'm still probably in the running to get the next opening. I don't know, but the faith didn't want me there. The breadcrumb never dropped. So I wasn't supposed to do that. Um, I did have an opportunity. Steve, I think we talked about this. Maybe I didn't. I had another person that I reached out to. I went to lunch with a friend. A friend referred me to his friend. He says, hey, I have a construction business. I need a truck driver. I need a dump truck driver. He says it pays $25 an hour. I says, I'll take it. I'll do it. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to drive a dump truck. And that breadcrumb disappeared. Disappeared. Went 8 weeks. Guy said, I want you to come drive for me. 8 weeks later, nothing. Nothing. Guess who called me the day I started America First? The dump truck driver. So follow the breadcrumbs. And if a breadcrumb drops and you don't pick it up, my faith says there will be another one. And there will be another one. And so when your faith is in doubt, rely on mine. If nothing else, rely on mine that there's somebody up there dropping breadcrumbs for you to pick up. And you just have to be aware that they're there. And then do pick them up, right? Pick them up big time. Follow through with those. So, Steve, I went probably a little bit too long. I know we normally do this. I have 20 minutes before I need to drop. So at this point, I think that the frequency or what we've done in the past is take some questions. So, Steve, I guess if you want to do that, we might as well try it.
Perfect. Perfect. We know you got to bounce off because you are at work.
Yeah, I'm going to
So,
work.
and I have a few new people here. So this may be new for some of them, but I'm just going to randomly pick people.
Okay.
Um, so I'm going to say we're going to do it as quick as possible. Of course, your friend is going to be Dax first.
Dax, my man. There you
I knew
are.
it. I would have been
How are
disappointed if I wouldn't have been first.
absolutely
Tony, I don't really have a question. Just congratulations. I think, yeah, I'm so happy for you because I know you went through it.
appreciate it.
So yeah, I'm glad for you. If I could, since I know you're at work, if I could come up with a question to make you cry more or something,
No,
I would
no, 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 no. No, I touched
just for
on
the
that one.
sake
I
of it.
wanted it out of the way, but it's true. It's 100% truth. You know, it was questioned, and there's no doubt in my mind. Um, Without help, I would have stayed where the Debbie Dowder. Like, I was just so bad, really, really bad. And so that's probably the biggest thing for you too, Dax, is your breadcrumbs are falling, dude. I see you on LinkedIn. Your breadcrumbs are falling. And one of those breadcrumbs, you just keep picking them up. One of those breadcrumbs is going to turn into something. And to be honest with you, man, it may not be what you're looking for. Don't be surprised. Um, this group of people that I'm working with, they're 25 years younger than I am. I mean, we just can't relate on certain things. They're big into the Squid Games. I've never even heard of the Squid Games. I don't even know what that is, but apparently it's a big thing with kids or the younger generation. Anyway, so don't give up. Just don't give up, Dax. Keep picking those breadcrumbs up.
Thanks, man. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is Jason, and there's two Jasons. We'll go with Trowbridge. There's three Jasons. Never mind.
Oh, nice. 3 today. Nice.
This is sending me back to elementary school where we had, well, public school where we had anywhere from 2 to 5 Jasons in classes.
Nice.
But,
I love
so, I do appreciate the your comment about getting out and doing things. It's one thing I appreciate about having a dog is he really appreciates getting walked.
Absolutely.
And that always does a really good thing for my mood.
It does. It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah. So I'm glad that one of your breadcrumbs worked out for you. I'm still working on mine.
Well, that's the thing. I'd mentioned it, but I don't. Maybe I just need to enforce it some more. I picked up so many breadcrumbs. I can't even tell you. When I was joking about Steve pounding sand, that's my frustration. Like I get it, guys. Like I just was like, I'm picking these up and nothing is happening.
Yeah.
And these calls, to be honest with you, when somebody gets a job, I hated them. I despised them. Because it was like, I am doing everything that they said they did to get a job, and I can't get an interview. Like those were multiple conversations. So if you're having those, Jason, just let them go, vent it, let them go, but look for the next breadcrumb.
Yeah. Now I've got some interesting ones lined up, but I do have to say, holy cow, I've gotten a couple of rejections recently for jobs that I applied back at the beginning of March.
Oh, yeah.
So that they finally said, yes, we're going to move forward with another candidate. And it was like, you're still here?
Yep. I've got an open rec. I've talked to the recruiter probably 6 times. Open rec since August of 24. The job posting is still open. My status is still active, and the recruiter still reaches back to me. August.
Yeah.
But so don't, I think on that one too, don't weigh too heavily on it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't
move to the next breadcrumb. And if that one's supposed to happen, it will happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up is Janelle. Speaking of recruiters.
Haha.
Here I am.
Janelle. Hello,
Hey.
hello.
Congratulations, Tony. That's great.
Thank you.
I think when I first started, you were, I think, deep into it.
Yep.
When we talked about salary, that was one of your questions. So I'm glad you found I'm glad you found something that's okay, but it sounds like you're really excited about the work, even though the salary's not where
true.
it's at.
It's true. And the thing is too, and I probably didn't touch on it as well as I should have as well. It was one of the things I was going to bring up, but I think I'll just kind of touch on it here. Drop everything. Drop your Netflix accounts. Drop all those added expenses. You don't need them. You don't. Those things I think ate into my budget faster than anything that I had. And you just got to go into a reserve mode. You stop eating out, kind of do those kind of things. Those kind of things helped me at the end because I was like, oh yeah, this is real. This is going to hurt, kind of deal. So just, those kind of things, cut those extra things out to kind of prep for it. But on the same token, you still got to have ice cream. You still got to go out and treat yourself, right?
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, the salary was huge for me. In fact, that was probably my number one thing that I probably wish I would have changed at the beginning. Yeah, in my head, I was making this salary,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted that salary. And there's a lot of people that have been on this call that have said, I got what I wanted, or I got more than I wanted. Well, I'm down here and I took it, and I'm happy for it. But
So
the
my
thing is,
question, so my question, Tony, is why did you take it if the salary was not? So what did you see in the role that was more important than the salary?
because I am now, and you guys are as well, I am an expert at looking for jobs. Um, I'm good at it. And there's nothing that says I have to stop looking now that I have a job. And that right there, once I got that shift in my head, it made all the difference. Did I pick a salary that I can live on? Absolutely. Is it ideal? No. Am I going to have to cut back on a lot of things? Yes. Yes, I do. I'm going to have to cut back on a lot of things. In fact, I went from 30 days a year vacation down to 10. 10. And I'm starting over. But it doesn't mean I have to stay here. Like it doesn't mean I have to stop. I'm an expert. I'm an expert at looking for jobs, but I have money coming in. So that's why I took it as well. Um, it was the breadcrumb dropped and it went somewhere. Now, is this someplace that I'm supposed to be long term? I don't know, but I'm not going to stop looking for breadcrumbs either. So I think that was the key too. Don't don't pass up an opportunity because it's less than what you think you're worth. You are worth that. You made that money. And I did too. I made dang good money, but I'm still who I am. Now I can say that I'm still a good person. I still contribute. I still think. And trust me, going into an office, whether it pays little or a lot, helps the mental. It does. It just does. So don't be afraid to um, take that. But with your recommendation too, from that call that you are on, be mindful of the positions that you're applying for, right? So if you want to say, I can't live less than 75,000 a year, or I can't live less than $150,000 a year, then don't look for jobs that pay 50,000, right? Don't look for jobs that pay 180,000 and think that you're going to settle for 150. Be realistic. Be realistic. And because I'm an expert in looking for jobs, I can tell you what the salary range is. And I can also tell you where those positions are higher or lower. And does America First pay top dollar? No, they don't. They don't. And I knew that. I knew that going into it. But they haven't had a layoff in 40 years. 40 years. That's huge. And where does America First have their name? They have it on the Real Salt Lake Stadium. They sponsor the hockey team, the Jazz, the Las Vegas Raiders. Their name's all over in Arizona, and they're expanding. Is there going to be an opportunity down the road? Maybe. Did you know America First has 3,000 employees? Wells Fargo laid off more than that in 1 year last year. 1 year they laid off that. So I took the salary for multiple reasons. Job security. It was a job. It didn't pay what I wanted, but I think stability was huge for me on that one. By the way, we've talked about this as well. So Janelle, you should know this as well. A lot of companies do referrals. So if you guys see a position at even America First, hit me. It's only $250, but $250 is $250, and I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you, and you can put me down as a referral. And there's other companies that do the same thing. If you know somebody on Northrop Grumman, they do a referral bonus. It's huge. I get thousands. IHC does the same thing. And you don't have just reach out to them. They'll put you as a referral. So definitely do that. Referrals, and Janelle, I think you said this in your thing as well. Referrals will get you to the head of the line every time. Every time. You want to get to the top of the list, put a referral down.
Okay. So I don't have enough time for everybody because Tony's got a hard stop. So raise your hand if you have a question. I'll put you on next. And I know Brian's got a hard stop too. So Brian just hopped in here and he's coming all the way from New York. So
Nice.
I believe,
Welcome,
I
Brian.
believe.
Hey,
Welcome.
I'll go next,
Okay.
Mr. Roger.
Thanks, Roger.
Congratulations, Tony.
Thank you.
Everything you touched upon, the faith and, going out, walking your dog, getting up in the morning, that's what you need to do. And that's what I've been doing. And
Do it.
it
Stay
keeps
with
your
it.
sanity going.
Yep. Stay with it.
Just one of the weird things is Friday, I got a rejection letter for KPNMG.
Yep.
And I went back looking when I applied for that job. It was December.
Oh yeah.
So there's stuff still out there, and they even told me they would keep my resume on file and keep looking. So you just gotta just keep with it.
Yeah, you gotta drop that breadcrumb and go to the next one. That's all it is. I've had way too many of those to see as well, but you're right though, Roger. There's companies out there that are probably just going through their list. They have hundreds to look through. And Janelle said it when, I don't know if you guys saw that one a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it was a couple of months ago. I can't remember, Janelle, but that's the thing. They put that form letter in and just drop it and move to the next one.
Well, congratulations. I'll free up time for someone else.
Oh, thanks, Roger, and good luck. I mean, everybody. I wish everybody the best. And I'm being 100% serious. If there's a job at America First, and you just want to get to the top of the line, drop me a LinkedIn message and say, hey, I want to apply for this. Put me down as a referral. There's a referral box that you check and put my name in there.
In the chat, I mentioned a movie that deals with ageism. It's really good. If anybody wants to watch it, watch it.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
Yep.
Okay. Next up is Travis. He had a question or wanted.
Hey, Travis. Oh,
I guess we can talk
there
now.
You go.
There we go.
There you go.
So first of all, I wanted to thank you for sharing your journey with mental health as a lifelong depressive and somebody that's been in therapy since he was about 15 years old. I absolutely understand not only feeling like essentially your personal worth is tied to your ability to contribute. It's what we it's what we're raised with.
Yep.
And being able to separate that out and focus. I mean, I'm so happy, and I think a lot of us went through this during the pandemic when we're all kind of bottled up. My daily walks were my favorite thing. I don't have a dog, but I tried taking my cat out, and
it didn't end well.
None of that.
I was gonna say that probably didn't end well.
They got about 50 feet, and then they're like, "No, I'm going back in."
Yep.
But yeah, I am very, very happy and just grateful that you're able to share that. Not tying your personal worth to your ability
100%.
to contribute. It's so tough. I mean, because it's what we're taught.
Yep.
And also, I know that you were emphasizing that the meds that you were taking, also having to take meds, they are a tool. They don't make you any less or any better. They're a tool to help get you to where you need to be.
Absolutely.
And I just, more than anything, I want to say thank you. Keep at it. Congratulations. And you'll get there.
No, I appreciate it. And thanks, Travis. And nothing else, Travis, as well. Don't forget to laugh, right? Like you have to find
constantly
the funny things. And that's where I found myself that I needed help was I couldn't laugh. I couldn't. Like there was nothing to smile about. There was nothing to joke about. The things that I love to do, didn't want to do them. Didn't care. Like and that point, that's when I was like, dang, I got to kick this out, right? And I tried, and I couldn't do it. I finally just had to say, I need help. counselors work, and I'm a firm believer in that as well. Get some counsel, get some help, but get your support group around you. And honestly, for you, Travis, huge congratulations for being vulnerable as well with sharing your story, because I think that's part of it, right? We need to share that it is okay. It's okay to not be okay. That's the other thing. And if you need help, do it, right? And to be honest with you, the more we talk and the more we're ambassadors of it, the more people we're going to help. And I believe, number one thing again, faith, right? The more we help others, it's going to be game changers for people, right? There may not, whether somebody listens to this call again, or there's somebody on this call that just needed to hear that today, that's why I'm here. Because I've been through the trenches. I know how crappy I felt. I know how crappy I was, like, for months. But this is why I came to these calls, was to get that boost. Like, there were some, and I told you, there were some weeks I was like, I'm not going to that stupid call. I said that. And you know what?
Then a career coach reached out to him to see if he's okay.
And I missed that call. And you know what? I came back because I knew what this call does for you. There's so many things you learn from this. There's techniques that you do. And trust me, I was the guy who says, I'm doing all those things. Nothing's working. It's okay. It's okay. So Travis, keep your sense of humor up, right? Be yourself. And thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that you're doing as well. I wish you the best of luck. Know that there's people that support you. I do. I support you. So,
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. We have time for one more, and it is a long-term person who I told, if you don't know this, I've told people they could be here for as long as it takes, no matter what your program is. So, Jason,
my man.
Man, it's
There
so
you are.
good to see you. And
Good
I
to
am
see you,
so
too.
happy.
Good.
No, like I say, because I've been concerned, and because I could see it. It was eating you.
Oh, it was bad.
And
It was
yeah,
bad.
and but I'm gonna say it. I've been praying for you, and
Appreciate that.
and I was so, it was so cool to see when that Steve's email come through and said congratulations to Tony Moser.
Yeah, it's
So
absolutely right.
yeah, very cool.
And and Jason, you touch on a huge point, and I touched on it as well. But our support staff is bigger than we realize.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't realize it. Like, hearing that you were praying for me, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know what? You're not the
bugging.
only one. You're not the only one that's come out and said, I am so glad to see that because I've been praying for you. And you're just like, what? Why were you praying for me? Like, what was the deal? And then also back to that faith challenge thing. I was like, well, your prayers were going nowhere. Right? I mean, how many times did you question that faith?
Well, of course you question it. But yeah, that's always the kicker, is the timing isn't the timing you think the timing should be.
Right.
But so, and one non-important question: what is it, the work you're doing now, that isn't server management or whatever?
So
what's the new job?
Literally right now it's product management. So I am in a team with America First that manages interest rates. Like, there's data. So that part of technology I use because I understand the data. I understand databases. I understand how they pull that. And so I'm helping these guys interpret the data so that they can say, this month, we're going to do something to interest rates for auto loans, for example. In fact, auto is two of the categories that I'm trying to get up to speed on, is understanding that. And as you saw in June, because I can tell you this now because June was over, But the word that they presented to the executive from this team was to leave rates unchanged. We're not going to adjust rates for car loans this month. And they didn't. And so there's a whole process of how they do that. They look at, they look at the data, and then they present it to these people, and they have to approve it, and they have to go out and approve it, and then they have to go to the executives and say, based on this data and these approval ratings, this is what we decided to do with car loans. That's where I'm at. Like, it's crazy. And I just,
but like you say, your knowledge of database access and all that stuff, it seems like it's right on point.
Yep. And Jason, you did say something that I should have said, and hopefully people haven't dropped off, and I do got to go. But I became a huge fan of AI. And AI, if you're not using it, you better start using it, because if you're not using it, somebody else is. And I finally got to the point, from all the screaming and yelling and crying and everything else, I loaded my resume to AI, and I did it differently. I says, what jobs should I be applying for based on my resume? And you know what? The job came up, product manager.
Interesting.
So guess what I did? I applied for a product manager role with America First, and I got it. So I don't know.
Good luck, man.
It's a faith. It's a faith thing, right? It's just huge. Don't give up on your faith. Just to wrap up, Steve, I know I got to go. I'm way past.
No, you're fine. I know you need to go. I'd keep you here.
I got to go. I got to go. But just one last thing is, don't give up. Don't give up. And get that support group. And if you need somebody to ping some ideas off of, I'm on LinkedIn. Steve knows where I'm at. I'm happy to help anybody. Like, if you need, like, I've got a pretty decent network now. I can help do whatever. So if there's a referral you need, by all means, reach out. Let me help you as much as I can. So, Steve, thanks for the time. Thanks for letting me speak to the group and sharing my my journey. It's not over. That's the other thing, Janelle. It's not over. I'm still going to be looking. But maybe the breadcrumbs never show up.
Big round of applause. So, thank you for being so vulnerable. And Tony and I, we are going to go play golf.
We are. We're going to swing the irons.
And so, then Steve, when that happens, I may just let everybody else know we could maybe get a foursome, or the thing that changed because of COVID. This used to be in person. Sometimes we'd have a lunch afterwards. People would hang around. But Tony, I know you got to go back to work.
I do.
Thank you for coming today.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Good luck, everyone.
Congrats.